Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. This is United versus Everybody. I am your host, Sean, and you guys are the community, the fans, the lifeblood, the reason I'm here, the reason we are where we are, the reason we are on the road to 2K. This is your channel. This is your opinion, your thoughts, your feedback, always. I'm just here to put out the topics and get the conversation going. So I appreciate you guys for getting involved, for helping the channel grow, and for just engaging. It does mean a lot. So continuing to hit that like button, subscribe, watching the videos, that's what's going to help us get to 2K. And that's what's going to get you guys closer to more giveaways. Like I said, I did promise giveaways when we get to 2K. I did promise a new copy of FC25 for somebody. I'm going to go pick up my copy when I'm done here today because I got that on pre-order. So I'm going to go let that be my afternoon. But today we are here to talk about the match this weekend. Big matchup, big possible 3 points up for grabs. Almost a must win for Tenhag. So you guys let me know in the chat what your thoughts are. We're going to jump right in. It's getting a little to the point now where I almost don't want to do match previews. I gave up wanting to do match reviews almost a few games ago, but it's starting to get on my nerves, some of these matches, some of these results, some of these performances. But I'm a trooper. So we are here to preview Manchester United's big clash against Spurs this weekend at home as well. So not that means anything to these players anymore playing at Old Trafford, but it should mean something because it absolutely means something to us. So let's get stuck in. As far as team news goes, we're going to talk about Ten Hag's pre-match comments first. No new injuries, same old. No Euro, no Lindelof, no Shaw, no Malacia, yada. Mount and Højlund pretty much look like they're back to fitness. They both have been getting minutes more and more, so I'd like to see some more of them. Ten Hag pretty much said it's going to be the same squad as we saw against FC Twente. As far as he was asked a couple questions about performances and stuff, and he was specifically asked a question about what was wrong with the team right now. What's the problem? What's the issue that we're having? And he said the same thing I said the other day after the FC20 match, and the same thing a lot of us have been saying is, he said, not scoring goals. We're not scoring goals. It's the key area. We have to score more goals. I think we have players across the team who have the ability to score. That's clear. You see the opportunities we're creating, we're not scoring enough. And that's exactly what we've been saying. We're not scoring goals. We're up near the top in terms of big chances created and stuff, but we're also like the worst when it comes to big chances missed. We need to put these balls in the back of the net. So he was asked about this matchup and what he expects from Spurs. And he says he thinks it'll be an intense game. I think it'll be an intense game as well, at least from Spurs' point of view. We don't really have that setting at United right now. We don't do intense. He said it always is intense against Spurs, especially since it's a similar style to how we play. So it will be an attractive game. Attractive, debatable. He was asked how to solve the problem of not scoring and whether or not it's simply a matter of players or if it's a matter of training. And he said, admittedly, he said it's both. You have to work on structure, possession, starting with the build-up. Across almost all the games, we have more possession, but it's about what we're doing with it. We bring the ball into the final third and the box a lot, but we need to take advantage of that. It sounds very, very similar to the kind of things we got from Louis van Gaal. You remember Louis van Gaal famously quoted how much possession were and stuff. And I think that, again, like I said the other day, it's what you're going to see from a lot of Dutch managers. They do favor high percentage passes. They do favor possession, being dominant. You're not going to see a whole lot of high scoring games from these Dutch managers. And that's, again, we've seen that a lot. But it's about what you do with it. We were getting a lot of possession under Van Gaal, and we just didn't score a lot of goals. We had so many 0-0 draws. Do you remember that? I think some people are still in a coma from that period. But and it's similar to Ten Hag. We're just not scoring goals. I don't know if it's the focus on the good shot or the right pass that's making these players a little more hesitant to get a shot off, or if they're just not confident in themselves, or if it's the system. I don't know. The system is improving us. We have improved looking at the numbers. It's just for some reason it's not translating into goals. So I like to see something improve in there. Sorry, my computer. I need to get a new computer, y'all. He was asked if Ange's Postecoglou's attacking style helps us prepare for this game. And Ten Hag kind of generalized it and said, every opponent has strengths and weaknesses. Spurs have strengths, and their philosophy is very clear. It's very attacking, but it also leaves space, something we're going to talk about here shortly. That is what they take into account. You have to be very good against Spurs. If you want to control the game, you need a high performance level and take your chances. I mean, pretty basic. Of course, you need to perform and you need to take your chances. It's like saying we need to pass better, we need to score more goals. It is what it is. It was brought back to the FC20 match. The next question, so Ten Hag was asked how United could be at a point right now as a club where our players are saying teams like FC20 wanted the result more than us. They wanted it more than us. And he said, every team has this in a season. When you play 60 games, there will be games where you're not happy with the performance or that the opponent wants it more. He says, it's the psychological side of top football. The team who can manage it the best is the most successful. We are ambitious, so you always demand from yourself that you're hungrier than the opponent. Do you think your team needs to be hungrier? Is what he was asked. Like, someone literally followed up with that. Do you think your team needs to be hungrier? Again, they're fishing for sound bites, but he bites. He says, we should be hungrier. That's what we demand from each other, and that's what we need to bring on in a consistent basis. Successful teams have that. And so I think that we can all agree that we just didn't look hungry against FC20. We didn't look like we were matching the level of energy, the level of intensity, the strength, the fight that they had in it, and we paid for it. He was asked about Zirkzee. He was asked if he thinks that he could become a prolific goal scorer for United, and Ten Hag responded, yes, I do. He's young, and we see his great abilities, his very good link-up play. He's creative. He's creating chances. He has very good attributes and areas he can improve, and he needs our support on how to improve. The same can be said for any young player. I said it the other day, I don't have a problem with the fact that players like Højlund, Zirkzee, Euro, these guys, Manu, I don't have a problem with the fact that they're young and they need to develop, but we need a balance in the club, in the squad, of players who are there and players who can be led. You saw it with the class of 92. People like to pretend that class of 92 was what got us to, success in 98, 99 and whatnot. They had so much other experience alongside them in those sides, guys like Irwin, Pallister and whatnot. You need a balance. That's how you do it. It's not only developing them in training and everything, but they need to have that kind of leadership on the pitch alongside them. So I do think we need to start looking at some other players. So I think there are going to be opportunities out there in the transfer market maybe to explore that, but we do need balance. So Ten Hag's 2 years at the club and the money that we've spent under him were brought up, and whether or not fans are entitled to demand that the team be further along than they are, and if fans are right to demand more consistency from us. Ten Hag said, you have to assess the situation. We are working, we're in progress, we have to sign players. We made a choice to sign young players, Højlund, Zirkzee, Euro. We believe in them now, and for the future, we have to build them. We had to make a switch in the dressing room, and I think we turned a corner, and now we have to work with the squad, and that takes time. He said, it's a problem, though, because I'm impatient, which isn't good for me, and we want to go forward, but to be fair, we also had success in the last 2 seasons, and we have to work very hard to bring more success. So, again, bringing up the trophies, which is a valid point, but that can't be your go-to defense as a manager right now. You have to be moving forward. He's followed up with the question, and again, reiterating, should the fans be more patient then? And he said, I say it again, we won 2 trophies. We are ambitious and we want to win more and finish as high as possible and win every game, no matter the opponent. So, basic stuff from Ten Hag. He was asked about Bruno being tired and not playing at his normal level. And Ten Hag said, I think he's capable and has proven it so many years and can create many chances. And I'm convinced this season it won't be different. He'll find his form. He already creating chances, but he'll make passes and score goals. It's just a matter of time. It needs to be a matter of like yesterday for Bruno. He's really starting to get on my nerves. This isn't me calling him a flop. This isn't me saying sell him, get rid of him, whatever. It's just me saying something's off. Let's figure it out. We tried to play him through it. It's not working. Now let's try to bench him through it and see if just a bit of rest makes a difference. You go through it. It's hard to pick which one to start, but we got to start someplace. So So that was pretty much the presser. Again, kind of boring. Let's talk a little bit about Spurs. So as far as team news for Spurs goes, they are without Richarlison, which honestly, in my opinion, kind of helps them, if we're being honest. Odegaard is out as well. Son went off in the 70th minute against Karabag, reportedly with a muscle issue or something. So I haven't seen any updates on that. There's a chance that Son could miss this one. So we'll see what happens there. As far as form goes, they only have 2 clean sheets in all competitions so far, and their second clean sheet was just the other day against yesterday in Europe. So they can be got at. They can be exposed. They can be figured out. They are vulnerable in some ways, so they're not able to keep a whole lot of clean sheets. And again, I think it has to do more with their system. And so here's how I would like to see us line up right now. Some of this is going to sound like a broken record when it comes to tactics, but it is what it is. So here's how I'd like to see us line up on the weekend. Onana in goal. Obviously, I don't really think there's a need to even talk about that. Let's get De Ligt back. He had the day off the other day. Let's get him back. Get him Felicia. Obviously, Mazraoui, Dallo. Starting to get a little concerned about the fullback. So they're playing literally every single match. I think there was that one match where Collier played left back, but I mean, I don't want to see that against Spurs. I'm going to throw Ugarte and Manu. I'm bringing Manu back to start this one, not because I think Eriksen did bad. This isn't me picking out Eriksen for giving away the ball that led to FC 20's equalizer, but Eriksen has literally played like 4 matches in a row. The guy needs a break. This week, we're kind of getting to a point where we can hopefully start rotating a little bit. The problem is these players need to maintain those performance levels. So I want to see Kobe. Kobe's like got among the best numbers for interceptions. He's got really good dribbling stats. I'd like to see him in this one. I think Ugarte had some decent numbers. Saw a lot of people picking out Ugarte for his one like stray shot, but nobody wanted to talk about how many balls he played in the final third, how many defensive actions he was successful with, or any of that. Ugarte was solid in our midfield the other day. He was sweeping up. He was moving the ball. He did just fine. He had one bad shot, and everybody acts like we bought him to be our number 9 or something. Ugarte is just fine. Let him get bedded in a little bit. He's only played a few games so far. He's still young. Play him alongside Manu. Let him do the dirty work. Let Manu move the ball. I'm starting Garnacho. I'm starting Mount in the 10. I'm going to rest Bruno for this one. And I'm starting Rashford on the left. Rashford was probably our best player the other day against 20, and he's actually in a really good run of form right now. If you want to deep his numbers, and I went through them the other day and I posted them on Twitter, like his take-ons were really good. He was getting into the final third. He even won like pretty much almost all of his duels as well. Rashford's doing just fine. We just need some end product from him and from our attackers. And then I want to start Højlund. Højlund's been getting some minutes. Zirkzee has been a little quiet. He was very, very quiet against FC 20. He didn't really play a whole lot of passes. He didn't get a whole lot of touches. I want to see Højlund. And there's a reason why I want Garnacho, Højlund, and Rashford and Mount in the front. I want Mount pressing. Now, I know I've criticized that in the past. Like, is this why we bought Mount to press? Is this why we bought Mount to press? We're going to need it right now. We're going to need his energy right now. I think that he's going to get around the pitch a little more. He's going to be a little more effective. And so I think that I'd like to see that happen. Let's get the press, get the ball to one of these fast attackers, and let's get at them on the counterattack a little bit, because that's what you're going to need to do. I feel like a freaking broken record with these tactics, but we absolutely need to exploit Spurs' high line, because that's how they get caught out. We need to hit them on the counter. We have the players to do it. It's just so many teams now are playing high lines, and we know Spurs play the highest of high lines that I've ever seen. It doesn't matter who they're playing or what. It doesn't matter if they have a player sent off when they're playing with 10 men and just still on the touchline like, hiya, mate, hiya, mate. Crikey. This means Onana needs to release the ball a lot faster than he has been. Tenhag was screaming at him from the touchline last season against FC 20, against Palace. Onana was just not releasing the ball. If someone takes a shot, if someone puts in a set piece and Onana gets the ball, get up, find a runner, and get the ball out. You have the distribution, you have the throw, and get it done. We need to pass it quicker because they're going to be pressing us like mad. We need to get around that press. We need to get the ball wide. We need to get it up the pitch. take advantage of that space that their high line leaves them with. If we show up and play like we did against FC20, we're going to get slaughtered because FC20 were pressing, they were energetic, they caused us a lot of problems. And I think that we're going to get slaughtered on Sunday because Spurs have an aggressive press. They're actually the most aggressive press in the league, according to the numbers. This is what enabled them to overpower Brentford, even though they went down a goal early. Brentford liked to play out from the back, but they did it very, very slowly, and you can't do that against these pressing sides. Brentford actually have the slowest buildup in the league, and that's just not going to cut it. It cost them. They quickly just were conceding goals with sloppy play. If we have more moments like Eriksen did against 20 that led to their equalizer, or like we saw from Casemiro against Liverpool, for instance, it's going to be a very long 90 minutes on the weekend. It just is. Spurs typically want the ball. They want to maintain it high up the pitch. They want to win it back fast. Again, a lot of teams are playing this same kind of system right now. Spurs also, they want possession, but they don't mind conceding possession to their opponents if maybe they think there's a better chance that they can exploit the lack of quality in their buildup or their slow buildup, and they can force turnovers. That's what they did against Brentford. Their four attackers, kind of like how Liverpool played against us, their four attackers kind of sit pretty high. Again, this is how a lot of teams are playing. We're seeing it from us as well. So we really want to make sure there's not that open space in our midfield like we've been seeing a lot. We saw it against Liverpool. Too much space in between our buildup and the rest of our team. Those four attackers had nothing but space to go and press, and it cost us a lot of problems. Spurs four attackers pressed Brentford as they tried to build, caused problems. Maddison, he used to play as like a number 10, kind of like a number 8. He actually kind of sits behind that front four now and basically just sweeps up and acts as a playmaker now. The front four press, he is going to find more time. He's got more time to build something, to move the ball around. He can dictate play, pick a pass from deep if he needs to. But that's when he's not rolling around on the ground like an idiot. Dalot is going to need to be mindful of Brennan Johnson because we know the dude is fast. He's had a couple goals already. So Dalot is going to need to be switched on. I want to see Rashford kind of doing his bit to kind of keep Johnson. If Rashford can press and kind of at least make that ball out to Johnson a little less accurate by pressing, whether it's the keeper or Pedro Porro or something, and Dalot can mark Johnson a little better. Doesn't need to stay stuck to him like glue, but he needs to be mindful of that ball. Look out for the ball over the top, especially, or around the corner. Then I think we'll be all right. But it's really going to be up for Rashford. The problem is if Rashford's spending all his time doing that, what does that mean for his attacking output? It's going to be a handful. Dominic Solanke loves a goal against us. He scored against us last year in Bournemouth's 4-0 win over us. And of course, he just happens to be finding form at the moment we're about to play Spurs. So that's awesome. He has 2 goals and an assist in his last 2 matches. So awesome. You know what that means. It's written in the stars, right? So Erik, tenhag, and United simply have to get a result this weekend after that shit show against 20, after that just unlucky, yes, but shit show against Palace. We have to get a result. More so, we have to start scoring goals. If we don't score goals, doesn't matter how well we're playing, how much possession we're doing, how well we dominate, how much we win the ball back. If you can't finish your dinner, you're not going to win anything. It just is what it is. Our defense is doing just fine right now, if I'm honest. We've had a couple iffy moments. I think that Licha's been a little guilty of getting caught too high up the pitch sometimes, but all in all, the defense is fine. I don't worry with Mizraoui back there. I don't worry with the lit and everything. So I'm not as worried about that as I am about our inability to score goals right now. We're creating chances. We're implementing a style of play despite what Ten Hag outers will want you to believe. We're conceding less shots, but we're just not scoring goals. And listen, Ten Hag's not on the pitch. He can't score the goals. He can't finish the chances. And he can't flip a switch, press a button on a controller. He can't make the players do it. He can't make Xerxes pick a corner and not put it right at the keeper. He can't make Rashford take a shot rather than hold on to the ball a little too much. He can't make these things happen. He has to create a system and a tactic that puts players in these positions, and it's up to the players. They're just not finishing their chances. We need to score goals. The big question is whether or not the goals are going to arrive in time to save his job. If we get a couple of bad results up before this international break, I'm not saying I want it. I'm not saying I think it will happen, but I think that I would not be surprised if we drop points against Spurs, we drop points against Aston Villa, and we drop more points in Europe on the road to Porto before this international break, because it's right around the corner in a couple weeks. I would not be surprised if Erik ten Hag is relieved of his duties. So let me know your score predictions. Honestly, if my heart wants to say 2-1 United, but my brain is like this has like 1-1 written all over it because we just can't score. But let me know your score predictions in the comments. Want to close out with a little bit of transfer news. So it was reported on Thursday, yesterday, that United scouts were in attendance to watch a match in the Swedish league between Hammarby and Häcken. Apparently, we are keeping an eye on an 18-year-old Ivorian winger named Bazumana Torre. He's young, but he's already a mainstay in Hammarby's starting 11 at a young age. He's already got 5 goals, 2 assists in just 17 matches this year. He's got a brace just the other month in August. So Hammarby's sporting director has confirmed that there's interest at their scouts present. He said, we need to plan for a future without him. Then if it happens this winter, next summer, or even further than that, I don't think so in and of itself. We'll see. But the longer we get to keep him, the better. So it sounds like there's interest. There were definitely scouts confirmed to be in attendance. United scouts were among them. Deal could be done maybe in the winter. We'll see what happens. Patrick, what's up, my guy? Welcome back, bud. But it sounds like United are continuing to target young, exciting talent. Torre does have a contract with Hammarby until 2028, but a deal could be done in the winter. Are the Swedish league done in the winter? I didn't even check. I know like the Norwegian league is. So that's why we've been linked with Nipan. But let me see if the Swedish league is done here. Let me look up Hammarby real quick. Yeah, this is professional. It's all right. I'm not professional. This is my hobby. So yeah, I'm pretty sure they are done November. So a deal in the winter could be happening, but we'll see. If you guys, I don't watch a whole lot of the Swedish league, just like I don't watch a ton of the Norwegian league. So I'm not gonna pretend I know much about Torre, but let me know your thoughts. Danny, big up, man. Big up, pal. Nearly missed you. Was on a FPL stream. Now you're good, bro. Was just trying to wait for some other team news before I did the stream today. Had a few things going on this morning, and then I just wanted to do a quick match preview before I ran out and picked up my copy of FC25. I think the store opens in like 10 minutes, so I'm gonna run over there and get it. It's gonna I'm gonna have to wait for it to download too. You remember the old days? Are you guys old enough to remember where you go buy a video game and you just pop it in your PS2 or something and you just play it? You didn't have to wait for it to download. Like, I don't understand why games seem to be going backwards. They don't even have testers anymore. We're basically the free beta testing for these games. That's why FIFA needs about 4 updates, or FC24 needed like 4 updates after launch before it got to where it needed to be, because they just wait for us to complain about everything before they make the fixes. Danny says, what did we miss? We just going through the match preview, looking at some team news, looking at Spurs tactics, how I think we need to break them down. I got my starting 11 here. I'll put my starting 11 back up on the screen now that you guys are here. Hold on a second. I will let you know. Starting 11 against Spurs. We'll go back through it because why not? Basically the same defense because that's our best defense, and we're pretty light on fullbacks. I want to start Ugarte. I want to start Manu in midfield. Like I said, I want Manu's interception numbers. His take on his dribble numbers are actually very good right now, and I think Ugarte had a really good game against FC20, despite what people want to say. His numbers are very good. He made a lot of passes into the final third. He got a really good defensive numbers. And I want Mount to start. I would rest Bruno for this one. But I want some pace in the attack. I want some energy in the attack because I think that Spurs' high line means they can get got at. And I want Rashford up there. Rashford actually had a very, very good game against FC20. I want Garnacho's pace because I think Ahmad, he's quick, but he's not pacey, if that makes sense. His feet are quick in the close control, but he's not pacey. And he had a very quiet game on Wednesday. So I want to see Garnacho, and I want Højlund to start. I want Højlund's pace. I don't think Xerxes had a really good game against 20 either. He's kept very quiet. So I want some pace. I want to get at that high line. I want to exploit that. I want to hit him on the break. And that's it. Yeah, Danny, I mean, Eriksen, this isn't me punishing Eriksen either for conceding that goal. I just think Eriksen, it's like, you don't like, he's in a good run of form, but he's played like what 3 or 4 matches in a row now, and he's played well. And there's an argument could be made to put him where Kavi is, but I think I want to see how Mount gets back. I just think we need that energy and we need that pace, and I can't trust Eriksen against Tottenham's press. Like I've said, the stats say Tottenham actually have the most aggressive press in the league. So we need to move the ball quickly. We need to exploit their high line, and I want to see that happen. I don't trust Eriksen's speed on the ball. I don't think he's going to get enough time and space on the ball to really utilize the things that he does have, like passing and stuff. We need players who are going to move the ball a lot quicker, to get around the press, to get the ball into that space in behind and exploit Spurs' vulnerability back there. I have not heard really about Bazumana Torre. These are just new, fresh links. We had scouts present for Hammarby's match this week, watching this little Ivorian winger. So he's got good numbers, 7 goal involvement so far. He could be gotten maybe in January. I think their season ends in November. So we did have some scouts present. And then finally, Obi Martin's transfer is finally confirmed, his signing, after the Premier League finally ratified it. He became a free agent, but Arsenal were due some compensation as well, so we were going back and forth with that. But it has finally been gotten over the line, so happy to see that. We've still got guys like Kone, Overy, and Lucille were confirmed this week as well, so we've got a lot of youngsters. We're still looking at Nipan, Mastantuono, and now this new winger. I like what I'm seeing. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are. Danny says, is it out today? Supposedly, yeah, it's out today. 9:27, right? So I'm going to run and go pick mine up here shortly, and then wait for it to download to the Xbox for a little while, and then hopefully start playing. I'm curious to see what these new career mode features are like, and things like that. The youth system looks pretty cool. Now they have little mini 5v5 tournaments for your youth players in your academy, so that's kind of cool. It'd be good to get the academy, get a little more experience and help with the growth and everything potential. I do a lot of scouting. I get all 3 scouts from my youth scouts. I rotate them. I only set them up for like a couple months, and then I rotate them and go to different positions, different countries to try to build more scouting. I have a big academy when I play, so I'm big on that. And then I like to, depending on the manager that I start my manager career with, my system and my signings and my tactics will reflect that. So I try to keep it immersive and realistic if possible. Very, very happy that they added the feature now where you can have a live dynamic start. So if I pick it up now, I think, I don't know when it kicks in, how long it takes for them to update it, if it's going to be ready now, but I could start playing with the tables and everything where it is now in real life. So if I start playing, United are going to be down in 12th or 11th, and it's up to me to get it through. I like to do that. If I started a new season that started from day one, I would turn transfer window off in the first transfer window because I would like it to be more realistic. So it is what it is. Patrick, will there be EFC gameplay? It's on Xbox, so probably not. I don't play it enough, I don't think, to make that. If it's something you guys would be interested in, I could try to figure out how to make that work with the Xbox and get it to stream on the computer. I just, like I said, you guys know that when it comes to technology and things like that, that I'm not the best. So it is what it is. Danny says, I'd agree. Pick the same lineup. Maybe Eriksen set him out. Danny says he's probably burnt out his legs, and Spurs is his old club. So good call. Yeah, I mean, it's just what I'm going. But I said it again against 20. I said I would arrest him, and he played and he scored. But he also, I think that the weaknesses of Eriksen were on show in that one goal we gave away, because he's just a little slow, a little weak, and then against the press. And we've seen that from him before. And so I'm not saying, like, I'm not trying to put a magnifying glass on that one moment. And it's definitely not the reason I wouldn't start him in this one. I think he just needs a rest. Similar to Bruno, though. Patrick says, Eriksen, low stamina. Yeah, if you have time and space on the ball, I think Eriksen's fine. With the way Spurs play, the way they press, they're like statistically the most aggressive pressing team in the league. I just don't think Eriksen is your guy. I want players who are going to keep the ball on the ground, move it quickly. And I want players who are not only going to move the ball, but also move themselves. Like, I want quick little link ups. I want pass, move, get open again. Don't just stand there and be static. We were way too static the other day. Everyone is just standing around, with their back to goal, waiting for the ball to come to them. Nobody was moving. Nobody was doing anything, and it was getting on my freaking nerves. Danny says, I would make Meston to 1 on Nipan, Gomez, Hato, main prior. Oh, no, I love Joel Hato. You know who I also like too is Oosterveld at Fenerbahce. He's a young left back that plays for them. Very good. I liked too Matson as well, and I really like Coventry's right back. I forget his name now, but a lot of good young fullbacks out there as well. Danny says, same. My playing career with Wrexham, all use. Sometimes when I get bored playing with United, I will create a club. I don't know if you guys do that as well. And so I might go through that. I get frustrated with the creative club though, because you start, but then there are so many players in when you get them that are on like the last year of their contract. So you struggle to keep them because you don't have the funds to sign them all to new contracts. It's very, very frustrating. So EA, if you're watching, which you're not, stop doing that. You let some more of those players when you create a club be on like 2-year contracts to start. And like I've got like 10 players on the last 12 months of their contract, starting with a small budget, a small club, and I gotta like lose a bunch of them or sell in the first window. It's really annoying, man. Danny says Kirke's looking good. I wasn't sold on him before. He's starting to shine. Yeah, Kirke's looked good in the Euros. I think the Euros was really good for a lot of fullbacks, though. Cucurella was one of the best. Carvajal, obviously. If Carvajal doesn't win Ballon d'Or, it's a travesty, in my opinion. But Kirke's is looking better. Do we think that he's good enough, though, because he's still very young? Is he good enough to start for us week in, week out? That's the question that I'm having right now. It's not, for me, it's not just, are you promising, are you good? It's, are you ready to be our starting left back? Because that's what we need right now. We need someone who is going to be our starting left back. Doesn't necessarily mean they have to be in their mid-20s or anything, but are they, like Gutierrez is only like 22. Kirke's is good. He's getting better, but is he ready? That's my question. Danny B says, yeah, how lower division teams do that in EA. Yeah, it's annoying, man. I'm not a fan of that. It does kind of hurt me a little bit when I do that, but it is what it is. I did one year, I did create Livonia City FC, the team that I was on the board for a couple years ago. They play in the Midwest Premier League, which is way down the soccer pyramid here in America, but I did put them in the MLS. I wish they had USL in here. There's a couple leagues that I wish they had because we're missing out on some players, but I do wish they would add USL to the FC 25. That would be really cool. But what are you going to do? Let me guys know your score predictions. Like I said, my head says 1-1. My heart wants to say 2-1 United, but my head says 1-1 because we're just not scoring many goals. The floodgates could open, though. You never know. They opened up against Southampton. Obviously, they opened against Barnsley, but Spurs are not Barnsley. So get your score predictions in for me. Like I said, I'm going 1-1 as probably my actual prediction. And then we'll go from there. But that is going to do it from me today, everybody. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. I'm going to go pick up FC 25 and see what that's all about. I think what I'm also really excited for, too, is I think you can play with icons as managers because you can start your career with them as a player, but then you can just retire and do that. Sometimes I do that, too. I'll get like an older player. I'll start a player career, then I'll retire. And like I've done that with Juan Mata a couple times where I'll start a career with Mata, retire, and then I'll go take over for Valencia, where he used to play. So things like that can always make career mode a little bit more fun. So there's never enough things. Danny says 2-2. You know, I started with 2-2, Danny, because I do think this has draw written all over it. I dropped it down to 1-1 just because our lack of goals. But we will see what happens. I think that we need to keep an eye on Madison a little bit. We need to keep an eye on Pedro Porro. Brennan Johnson's pace could be tricky. And then Solanke does love a goal against us, and he's been getting goals. The last couple matches, he's got 2 goals and an assist in the last 2 matches. So we'll see. But that is going to do it for me today, you guys. Thank you guys for stopping by real quick. Sorry for the off time. It's just schedule dictates sometimes when I can go live. So it is what it is. But still appreciate you guys stopping by. Danny's got Solanke in his fantasy. See, and again, that's why I can't do fantasy sports, because now you're like, cool, he got points, but that also means we conceded a goal this weekend. So my brain can't compute. It shuts down when it has to deal with things like that. So good luck in your fantasy this weekend, Danny. Thank you, Patrick. Thank you, Danny, for stopping by today. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you guys probably, barring any major announcements tomorrow, probably after the match on Sunday or maybe even Monday, depending on what else I have going on this weekend. So Take it easy, guys. Thanks for stopping by. I will talk to you guys on the next one. Later.